The stage is set for a chilling tale of paranoia and desperation at 20,000 feet, directed by George Miller of Mad Max fame. Meet our hero, Mr. John Valentine. He's consumed by a deep, paralyzing fear of flying, a fear no doubt amplified by the storm raging outside. Hidden away in the lavatory, he's panicking, acting like a man possessed. His gaze darts towards the door, his eyes wide, face sweating, body shaking, each deafening pound threatening to knock it off the hinges. In reality, one of the cabin crew is gently knocking, trying to find out if their passenger is all right. He composes himself enough to reply.
Just a moment.
He looks in the mirror at himself, takes a few pills and throws some water on his face. Emerging from within, barely holding it together, the cabin crew comfort him and assure him that it's quite normal to be scared, as they escort him back to his seat. The other passengers watch him as he passes them, ranting and raving about various air travel accident statistics. Back in his seat, the junior stewardess picks up his book, Microchip Logic, The Liberation of the Left Brain. "Do you really read this stuff?" she asks.
I wrote it.
The senior stewardess offers him some sedatives, which he refuses. "No, I'll be fine," he says. A little girl in the seat in front of him takes his photo. The stewardess swiftly carries her away and asks him one more time if he's all right. "I'm fine, thank you," he replies. She seems convinced and leaves to tend to the other passengers. Settling back in, he lights up a cigarette.
You heard the captain. No smoking.
He ignores her and turns to face forward, meeting the angry stare of the passenger in front. Begrudgingly, he extinguishes his cigarette. Trying to get comfortable, he leans back and closes his eyes. A crash of lightning outside jolts him in his seat, causing him to instinctively grab his pill bottle, but he decides against it and puts them away. Grabbing a nearby newspaper, he opens it up and on the front page it reads "Airplane Disaster." Throwing it aside, he glances out the window, something unexpected catching his attention. He rubs his eyes, then has another look. Briefly glimpsing something, he puts his glasses on and looks again. There's a shape on the engine. Lightning strikes, illuminating it. The shock of seeing this panics him and he backs away from the window and shouts, "There's something out there."
There's a man on the wing of this plane!
He shouts. Everyone rushes for a look. Peering through every window out into the storm, they see nothing but rain and wind. "There was somebody out there, you have to believe me. I saw him too, green and slimy," says the elderly lady in the seat behind, before being dragged away by her embarrassed husband. He explains that at first he thought it was an animal, a bird of some kind, but it wasn't, it was a man. There were flames coming out of the engine, then a flash and smoke. He trails off. "It's impossible, isn't it?" he says to the stewardess, realizing what he had just described. She offers him the sedatives again, which this time he quickly takes. "I feel so stupid," he says. She assures him that there's no need to feel embarrassed, and that he should try to get some sleep. "Isn't it amazing how the mind can make you see something that isn't even there?" he tells her. Convincing her that the sedatives are already working and that he's feeling sleepy, she leaves him. He puts a pillow behind his head and tries to sleep. A crash of lightning stirs him, and he slams the other blind shut. He's almost tempted to open again but resists. Turning away from the window, he shuts his eyes again. Turbulence shakes his seat gently. A few moments later his eyes spring open, and with an overwhelming determination, he spins round and violently throws open the blind, to reveal a horrific face staring right back at him. He screams like a madman and bolts from his seat, only to be tackled to the floor by the captain, the junior stewardess and a passenger. "Get the handcuffs," shouts the captain. The storm rages outside, seemingly getting worse. I'm all right, he screams. The passenger reveals himself as FAA security. The captain orders all the passengers to their seats, as he eases Mr. Valentine back to his own.
Handcuffs,
shouts the little girl. The captain manages to calm him down, and gently asks him what the problem is. "Will you look out that window please?" he asks. He briefly looks, before shutting the blind. "What was I supposed to see out there?"
Nothing.
The captain explains the situation, and that if he doesn't calm down, they'll have to handcuff him. "There's something wrong with this plane," he insists. "What do you think's wrong with this aircraft?" asks the captain. There's an engine out. Outboard number 1, it's out, he tells him. The captain admits that 9 minutes ago, number 1 was struck by lightning.
Lightning. Lightning.
He convinces Valentine that the odds of something happening to one of the other engines is astronomical. We're landing in about 20 minutes, and there's a high probability that we'll survive this flight, the captain assures him. Turbulence kicks harder than before and the captain rushes off towards the cockpit. Things and passengers are thrown around, people shake violently in their seats, terror filling their faces. Valentine looks out the window again, this time seeing the figure violently attacking the flap of the wing. He wonders what to do. What can I do? People are terrified. Some pray, some cry, the little girl laughs, as she's thrown up and down in her seat. Looking out the window again, he sees the figure now riding the engine like a horse, tearing wires from it, with its arms in the air. He grabs the little girl's camera out of her hand, points it out the window and takes the shot, but the flash ruins the photo. The creature on the wing is tearing the engine apart, flames and sparks exploding from it. He's had enough, and grabs the oxygen bottle that's been rolling around on the floor. With all his might he bashes it into the window, and is immediately grabbed by the sky marshal, both of them falling to the floor. As they struggle, he reaches for the marshal's gun. Grabbing it, he aims, pulls the trigger, and is pulled off his feet and sucked through the broken window, the air marshal grabbing him by the waist just in time. The loss of air pressure sends everyone and everything flying, utter chaos. Outside, Valentine sees the creature still tearing at the engine. Aiming the pistol at it, he takes several shots. It turns and looks to him, hops off the engine and runs along the wing towards him. He points the gun at its face and it bites it in half. Valentine is stunned. The creature's attention is drawn away to the quickly approaching runway. Turning its attention back to Valentine, it grabs his face and squeezes. After a moment it lets go, and waves a naughty finger at him, before leaping off of the wing and spiraling upwards into the stormy sky above. Valentine relaxes as the plane comes in for landing. On the ground, now wrapped in a straitjacket, he finishes explaining to the medics what happened. "I'm practically a hero. Can you believe that?" The captain and a few of the passengers stand chatting, all of them confused as to why he did what he did. "It's claustrophobia," says the marshal. "They'd rather fall to the ground than stay aboard." The mechanics arrive to inspect the plane. One excitedly screams to the other. "Max! Max!" The other mechanic looks down at the engine in total disbelief. The captain and the passengers can't believe what they see.
Holy Toledo! Hey, you guys! What happened up there?
The end.